You this Monday night, and between now and 9 o'clock there's loads of local and national sport to get into. We'll have the latest news from the world of Pembrokeshire football ahead of what is a hectic week to come, and we'll reflect on another great weekend for Haverfordwest County. In the Premier League, another two managers have lost their jobs. We're next for Leicester, Chelsea, and you can add Spurs to that mix as well. And we'll look back on a golden weekend for Haverfordwest and Whitland ladies in the rugby, as both win WRU titles on a super Saturday at the Principality Stadium. Whitland's team manager, Sue Davis, will be our special guest on the show tonight. There's that and news ahead of Langham Youth heading to Cardiff this Friday. Neyland losing narrowly in the cricket at Lords, and a bit of London Marathon chat as well to get through. Gordon and Tom keeping me company tonight. Evening to you both. How are you?
Very good, Ben. Are you all right?
Yeah, not bad. Tom, good to see you. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Very well indeed. So much sport going on at the moment.
Oh, there's stacks to cover tonight. There really is. And we'll mix some of the local and national stories as well. And Gordon, you can maybe tell us where you think Man U are going to finish as well, because it hasn't gone great, has it, since the Carabao Cup final?
No, they certainly lost their way a little bit, Ben, and let's be honest. I still got faith in Ten Hag. I hope he doesn't have the sack now before the end of the season, Ben.
Well, listen, I've got one eye on the Tottenham game tonight as well, because that's a big one for the Champions League race. So we'll come to some of this before 9 o'clock, but I do think we should start with Haverfordwest County, really, because the form has been really good, hasn't it, in recent weeks? And it continued on Saturday with a really good win at Flint Town United. And I've watched the goals, and Flint went down to 10, didn't they, quite late on in the game. But that's a serious win for Tony Pennock's side, Gordon. And just for people watching, what it means is they're now 4 points clear at the top of the second pool, aren't they? With a good chance of taking that spot now with 3 games to play.
Yeah, exactly, Ben. It was a really important result. What a way to get an away win at Flint as well. We've been waiting for a decent away performance, and I'm sure manager Tony Pennock would have been absolutely delighted that his team kept a clean sheet again, and they got 2 goals. It was a brilliant win, to be fair. I have to say that Corey Shepherd was captain on Saturday as well. He has been missing for most of the season, but he's such a key cog when he does play. He's a tremendous player in midfield. He's got a good engine on him. He distributes the ball well, and it helps. He brings others into play, which is important. And I think, even though we had Jazz Richards missing on Saturday, and Dylan Davis, and Ben Fawcett as well, the boys that are coming in are doing a decent job. And obviously Pennock's going to be delighted with that, because the squad is a lot stronger than this time last season. And we're hoping that they can get into that European playoff spot.
We'll just have a quick look ahead in a minute to the 3 games to come. But I think recruitment's been pretty good for Haverfordwest, and the work Tony Pennock's done. And Rob Edwards tweeted yesterday, actually, it was a good one, where he said that the last time Haverfordwest went to Flint in November, they were in the bottom 2. And he said there's been ups and downs since, but credit to the coaching team and players for getting the results we've needed since. And it has been an impressive effort, I think, Gordon, on and off the pitch. What's gone on in these last few months?
Well, 100%, isn't it? We had a lot of academy players on the bench back then, but Tony has done some wheeling and dealing in the transfer market. Brought in a couple of players, Daniel Hawkins, one ex-Swansea, and he's a really good player. It's the extra quality that he's been able to bring in. Elliot Duggan is another one as well. They're decent players, and I'm all for academy players playing at that level, but you've still got to have the strength and depth in your squad to be able to cope with it's a tough league, that one. Yeah. Because we say it every week, every game is very, very tough, and you have to work extremely hard to earn your points. And they've just improved a lot over the last, I would say, 6-7 weeks, to be fair.
Yeah, you are right. It's relentless. It's lots of games, lots of travelling as well, of course,
Yeah.
all over Wales. So it does take some commitment. Friday, Good Friday. Let's hope it is for Tony Pennock's side. Tom, we're going to be there, aren't we? Pure West Radio at the Oggy Bridge Meadow.
We are going to be there. So, and I believe they've just launched an initiative that I saw earlier. It's bring a friend to the Oggy Bridge Meadow. So if you bring someone with you, someone gets in free as well. So they're looking to fill up that stand, which is great.
Oh, that's a really, really good idea. And they've done a number of those things. Let's just look at the games then, Gordon. The three to come. The one we're at, as Tom says, Pontypridd at home on Good Friday. That's a 2:30 start. Then on Saturday 15th, home to Aberystwyth. That's a 5:15 game. So that will probably be a televised game, won't it? I'd have thought.
I would have thought so, yeah.
So 2 home games. Then an away match at Airbus on the final day of the season, who are bottom. I do think if you'd offered Tony Pennock those 3 games to finish, he probably would have taken it, wouldn't he?
He would have snatched your hand off, Ben. Definitely. I mean, yeah, Pontypridd have been a funny side for Haverfordwest this season. They've had difficult games with them. There's a few ex-Bluebirds playing for them, to be honest with you. They seem to know our style of football. So it's changed a bit over the last 7 weeks, like I said. So I hope that Haverfordwest can get a win against Pontypridd. And then we'll have Aber on the following Saturday. That one is always a tough game as well. If we could be greedy and win that one, it should be an easier task playing the bottom of the table Airbus at the end of the season with hopefully nothing at stake. That's what
2
I'm
games.
hoping, anyway.
2 games at home are crucial, aren't they? Good Friday. Yeah,
that's the
and
fortress.
then
I keep telling everybody that the fortress is at home. We've got to make it. We've got to win our home games and then snatch a few away games, which we did last Saturday against Flint. So hopefully we can do it now on Friday. Get a W and and get a good crowd down there as well. As Tom said, that'll be a half-price ticket if you bring your mate. Make sure he pays half.
And with the Supporters Trust as well, they've done a real effort this second half of the season of getting buses to the away game as well. They're being followed now on these away games and up to the north there. It's brilliant.
I think attendances are up a little bit anyway, which is good to see in the Welsh League because it's great to get out and watch. It is good football, Ben. I don't understand why people don't get out there a lot often and follow the Welsh League side. They're playing for our county, Pembrokeshire, whether other clubs like that or not, they are. If you've got players that are good enough to play at that standard, they can play for Haverfordwest County. So we all need to get behind them and get them flying, get those Bluebirds flying.
Big finish to the season. That's what we're after. Okay, in the Pembrokeshire First Division, it's a busy week actually, isn't it? Certainly for Hakin, who I think played tonight and Thursday. They warmed up for these next 2 games with a 7-0 win over Neyland. Goodwick went one better. They put 8 past Fishguard. So pretty routine victories there at the top of the table. And of course, Gordon, they play each other, don't they? This coming Saturday.
Yeah, it's a big game, isn't it? It's not the end of the season either, Ben. Hakin have 7 games left to play this season, beginning tomorrow evening against Clarbeston Road at home. Then Thursday, they got Merlins Bridge at home. And then they travel to Phoenix Park for a 2:00 kickoff against league leaders, Goodwick United. It's a big game. It's a massive game. But Scott Davis won't be getting ahead of himself for Hakin. He knows he's got to take one game at a time. So it's Clarbeston Road first. That's what he'll be focusing on. And if they can get past them, it'll be Merlins Bridge. And then if they get past them, it'll get to Goodwick.
In 1 week, in 5 days.
Well, it's going to, obviously the table will have a slightly different look to it potentially come Saturday. Hakin at some points nominally behind Goodwick in 3rd, but they've only played 14 games to Goodwick's 20. It's a bit crazy. Does it make it a lottery though? And I don't know if the two of you, have you ever got to this stage in the season and had to play this sort of scenario where it's every other day? It can't be easy, that, no?
It was tough when I did it because I lived in Cardiff at the time when I was travelling back 2 or 3 times a week to play in the evenings. But I wouldn't change it. It was great fun. But it's tough because the squad availability is the big thing. If you're lucky, your squad's available for training 1 evening a week and then you play on a Saturday in the afternoon. Now, if you're on shift work or anything, it's tough for the squad.
Yeah, I remember back in 87. Say that quietly, Gordon. When I was playing for Merlins Bridge, we were in Division 2 then, Ben, and we had the same problem. We had a good senior cup run, and we were in the final. But our league games, we were come this time of the season, I think we had about 6 or 7, not as many as Hakin, but about 6 games to play and a cup final to play. So it was tough because you have to pack it all in. We were playing twice, 3 times a week. It was tough because let's be honest, the boys are working as well.
I was going to say, everyone's got day jobs.
They're not professional sportsmen.
No.
Professional sportsmen aren't expected to do that. But when you're working, playing, having a rest in work, don't tell your employer that, and then going out to play football again a couple of nights, it's tough. It really is tough. But Hakin have the squad to do it. Goodwick, I've got a very good squad as well. They're 2 very good sides in the Pembrokeshire League. Goodwick will think they should win it this season because they should have won it last season, but they didn't know technicality, so we won't go down that road. But, those 2 have been at each other for a good few seasons, and it's been good to watch. Fair play.
So how do you think it'll go on Saturday? Who are you going to tip up, Gordon, or would you rather not do that?
Well, you can't because they're 2 very good teams. I've got to speak to both parties. That's the difficult matter. So I have to be impartial, to be honest with you. But it's good for Pembrokeshire League football. They're 2 very good teams. And obviously both sides want to win. And what I will say is the best team will win on the day.
he sat on the fence a bit.
That's diplomatic, mate.
Okay, if anyone else would like to do that for Gordon and make some predictions, Goodwick against Hakin, of course, will be the big game this weekend. Hakin having played tomorrow and Thursday going into that one, so we'll keep an eye on that. And any thoughts on that, do let us know. It's the business end of the season, though, isn't it? No doubt about it. Top and bottom as well.
Exactly.
Division 1 table, Gordon, and it makes for quite an exciting finish, doesn't it? Which is good.
Yeah, that's what we want. And fair play, poor old St Clair's, they only won 1 game this season as well, Ben. You've got to spare a thought for them, but they fulfilled their fixtures, to be fair. They only got the 1 win. I don't know who lost against them. I think Fishguard might have lost against them. So Fishguard are just above them as well. So it'll be Tish or Fishguard will go down to the 2nd division, bearing on results on Saturday. So Tish need to win.
Yeah.
If Fishguard win, they'll be okay. But Tish need to win to get out of trouble. And if Fishguard lose, they're going into Division 2.
If Tish stay up, because they haven't had a great season,
no, they haven't.
That'll be quite a rescue job that they've pulled off there.
Yeah, they've had a few hide-ins this season, but they've got better as the season's got on. They haven't leaked so many goals. They're still leaking goals, but not so many.
Okay, listen, there's loads of football to do tonight, so we'll do a bit more in part 3. Just before we go to the break, and then we'll speak to Sue Davis, who's our guest, about a golden weekend for 2 Pembrokeshire rugby sides. We should say Fraser's not with us this evening. I wondered if he was a bit overexcited by the Welsh derby on Saturday. Swansea City winning it in the 99th minute against
Incredible.
Ben Cabango scored, didn't he? The winning goal. Liam Cullen on the score sheet.
That's more important. Liam Cullen scoring with a header, Ben.
It was a brave one as well.
5'8" of him. He got up there and put it away, mate. Fair play to him.
Up there? You see, it was down by his knees.
It had to be if he's 5'8".
But in all seriousness, that was some game. I think Fraser would have gone crazy at the final whistle, but also on Liam Cullen. Got the call up, didn't he, to the Wales squad? Wasn't named initially, but then came in, which was great to see. Getting a goal in a big game. His form of late has been really good, hasn't it? And it's great to see when you think of the injury problems he has had over the last 18 months or so. This is good for Cullen.
Oh, definitely. He's improved this season, no end, and he possibly hasn't had as much game time as we would have liked to have played. But when he has played, he has contributed well. He has scored a few goals this season. He's about 6 or 7 goals, to be fair to him, in the Championship. And the rest of his play is improving. He's still a young lad. He's got a big future ahead of him. Hopefully now Russell Martin will have a bit more faith in him and play him more regular. That's what we want.
Yeah, indeed. But great to see. And some game that as well with a late winner. Nothing like a late goal in a local derby, is there really? So that was a an exciting finish to that game. We'll take a moment. Sue is going to come up next to talk to us about Whitland's success in the WRU Plate, and also Haverfordwest beating Cardiff as well. 2 really close games, but 2 excellent results for our 2 sides. So we'll talk to Sue about that, and also some Pembrokeshire girls doing really well on the international stage as well. Some weekend for Pembrokeshire women's rugby. We'll do a bit more football before 9 as well. London Marathon chat. Big game for Langham for their youth side in the rugby. They're going to Cardiff on Friday. So plenty more still to come on the show, and you can get involved with us as well. Just give us a message and we'll read some of those out on air. We'll take a moment. Back in a sec on Pure West Sport.
Eaton-Evans and Morris Solicitors have